Welcome to yet another episode of World Cup Express on Indian Express's YouTube channel. I am Chandresh Narayanan. Here's an interesting stat for you. India has lost just 3 matches in the last 4 years in ICC tournaments. South Africa has not beaten India for 3 years in ICC tournaments. There's something about this stat and something about the Indian team at ICC tournaments that seem to get the best out of them, and at the big stage especially. And I have with me an interesting guest, Bharat Sundaresan, the special correspondent of the Indian Express, to talk more about why India seems to do so well at ICC tournaments and especially against South Africa. Welcome to the show, Bharat.
Thanks, Chandresh. Well, Chandresh, this is the wildebeest, one of the most difficult animals to hunt down in the whole of Africa. Somewhat like South Africa have been for India. I mean, it's not an ICC tournament, but in the World Cup, the 50-over World Cup, India had never hunted them down. This was in complete annihilation. And leading the hunt was Shikhar Dhawan, who maybe before the World Cup started was easy meat, it seemed, for bowlers. From you just had to pitch it up and you could get him. It was that easy, really. And for someone like him to stand up and to really completely pummel them into submission was, I think, India couldn't have asked for a better second game in the World Cup.
I think at some level India showed up the weakness in the South African bowling, because beyond Steyn, the bowling doesn't seem to have that much bite in one-day internationals. That's a qualification that I have. In one-day internationals, beyond Steyn, the bowling lacks the bite.
Absolutely, and someone like Morne Morkel, who blows hot and blows cold, across formats. And we've seen in one-day cricket that once you go after him like Shikhar Dhawan did, he doesn't have answers. And with Philander breaking down after just 4 overs, and Steyn not looking at his best in his early spells, South Africa had nowhere to go. And Wayne Parnell, we've seen being carted around before as well in one-day cricket, but South Africa seemed to have a lot of trust in him. But when you have someone like Shikhar Dhawan going after you the way he was, there's little you can do, and that's why India have invested so much in Dhawan, and they've backed him even when runs weren't coming his way.
I think the other thing that I noted very closely was the fact that India out-bowled South Africa, and the way the fast bowlers bowled, they were really on their money. And I think I quite like the way they approached the effort. Shami, Umesh and Mohit, who surprised Amla.
Exactly, and the thing was, AB de Villiers at the presentation said his run out was a turning point. I disagree. I think the turning point happened much before. Like you said, it happened with the way India used the new ball. They didn't give anything away. Amla is someone who likes to get off to a quick start in one-day international cricket. They gave him no loose deliveries. They tied him down and they got his wicket. And even AB de Villiers, he got run out. It was a brilliant throw from the outfield, but he went for the second run because he was tied down. They weren't giving him enough singles, and Faf du Plessis, like Ahmed Shehzad did the other day, had kind of batted them into a hole. And I think that was the major difference. And Mohit Sharma, Umesh Yadav was a little expensive, but Shami, he's giving you wickets with the new ball almost every time he bowls, which is exactly what India have lacked for a long time. And going back to the batting performance, Ajinkya Rahane once again turned the game for India. He flayed Mitchell Johnson at the MCG during the test match, during the Boxing Day test, and he did that to Dale Steyn. He jumped out of his crease and smashed him over his head for 6. Perfect all around for India.
I just don't want to jinx India's performance anymore. Just picking on what he spoke about, Ajinkya Rahane, who's nicknamed Jinx. Let's hope India continues their winning momentum in ICC tournaments and keep progressing towards the quarterfinal and maybe semi-final and final. That's all in this episode of World Cup Express.